Yo, what is good, everyone? Your boy Deke back again with another vid. We got some college football over the weekend, and I'll tell you what, college football stock is up. There was a ton of good games. You can see that Penn State, Wisconsin, 16-10. It was like 0-0 heading into half. A lot of defensive games. Wisconsin just shit themselves in the red zone too many times. Oklahoma, Tulane. Spencer Rattler was calling Tulane the hardest hitting team he's ever went up against. Alabama housed Miami. Oregon, Fresno State was a little close. The night games were good. Clemson, Georgia, LSU, UCLA, and then last night, Florida State, Notre Dame went to overtime. Let's talk about Pitt. We ended up getting the dub 51-7. We did what we were supposed to do. Maybe you were a little concerned in the first half. Not that we were going to lose, but just because, or just at the possibility that we weren't going to win by the margin we were supposed to because the spread was 37.5. Started off with a punt and then with a fumble. But ultimately, we looked pretty dominant in this game. Kenny Pickett was sharp, 20 for 24, 222 touchdowns in the first half. He had a touchdown dropped on a slant. He had a really nice 2-minute drive before halftime. Had some rushing too. You could see there 6 carries for 39 yards. They did some nice little read options, but then also he was able to get out of the pocket and scramble and make plays when he needed to. Only low point he really had was when he got knocked out of the game, and that was no fault of his own. He took a shot downfield because the dude was offsides, ended up being a pick, but then obviously reversed because UMass had 2 penalties against him. Continued the good play in the second half. Only difference was the running game actually started to get going. Vincent Davis, it looked like he was the third running back to get touches, but was obviously, in at least yesterday's game, the best running back because as soon as he started getting the ball, the running game looked different. Then they panned to his Georgia Tech stat line from last year. I didn't know he had that type of game. I stopped watching Pitt after they went 3-0, and I think they lost in their 4th or 5th game. But yeah, shout out to Vincent Davis for getting the running game going in the second half. I just don't know why he wasn't getting carries earlier on. But we do have some nice running back depth with Abanikanda and then also with A.J. Davis. We'll see how they use all 3 running backs. If there is a running back battle, who ends up stepping up when we get into some of these better games. But yeah, I liked what we did in the second half. First half was just pretty rough. Receivers overall looked solid. There was a drop or 2 here or there. One of them was contested in the end zone. It was a nice ball by Pickett. He placed it where he needed to in the corner, down low, but Addison couldn't hold on. And then, like I mentioned, that earlier drop, it was like a slant across the middle. I can't remember who it was. But also, Lucas Kroll, he looks like a beast, man. He almost looks like Gronk. Don't nitpick the comparison because Gronk's a Hall of Fame tight end, but just from the standpoint, he's big, he's physical, and he's clumsy out there, and he's going to catch every ball thrown his way. Kenny Pickett's going to use him as a safety valve. I'll be interested to see how he looks as the season goes on. As long as the line can hold up, which they did in this game, we got the skill positions. We got the talent on offense. I don't see why we can't be putting up points with any other team in college football. We got the quarterback, the running back depth. We're stacked at receiver. And then tight end Lucas Kroll's looking like a stud. Offense, just really solid all around. Defense, absolutely lights out. Like the offense, did what they had to do. Outmatched UMass. Maybe the only concern you could take away from this is the secondary because there was an opportunity or 2 that UMass missed out on early on, and that was due to the Pitt Panthers secondary. Quarterback overthrew a probable touchdown on a streak in the middle of the field. But really, outside of that, they were locked down the rest of the game, and the front 7 was awesome. Cansey was making plays left and right. I don't think UMass had a first down for a good portion of the game. Or it was really low number, and the score was 0. They had a goose egg. But then all of a sudden in the second half, garbage time happened, and Minutemen were really trying to score. Pitt was in just prevent mode, which made things interesting because the spread was 37.5, and you were like my brother who bet on the game. The fourth quarter was actually really interesting because it was a ton of back and forth. It was towing the line between that spread. We had our backup quarterbacks coming in that were actually trying to make plays. It wasn't like we were just running the ball and trying to run out the clock. We would score in 2 minutes. So it was back and forth. There were some turnovers, UMass fumbled it and stuff. So it was fun. Overall, the game was good because we got to see the Pitt offense, the first team with Kenny Pickett, do what they had to do. put up points really quick. Then they ended up sitting in the third quarter. We get the backups in. But if you did bet on the spread, it was teetering on that 37.5 for most of the time. And it was funny because UMass actually started to be able to move the ball a little bit. And then they got some points on the board. But yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be doing a Pitt, Tennessee preview. I didn't do a preview for this game because I just probably wouldn't have known what I was talking about. I didn't know too much about this team outside of like Kenny Pickett. Stopped watching after like the first 3 games last season. So I at least wanted to get a game under my belt, do a recap. Now I'll be able to do a preview for the Tennessee game. Looking forward to that. That should be a good one. I do think Pitt's going to have a chance. I think our team's actually going to be kind of legitimate this year. And it's good that it's SEC. It's going to be out of conference. We saw how Clemson looked too. A little bit shaky. UNC lost. So Pitt might have a chance. They might have a chance. I don't know about for the playoffs because if we lose a game or two, that might hinder us from making it. But in terms of winning the ACC, you never know, or at least making the ACC championship game. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let me know what you guys thought of the game. Stay chilling and peace.